All right, guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of DSLR Film Noob Podcast. This week we're talking about all kinds of stuff, including headphones, the iRig Pre, which is an awesome little preamp. We're going over the new 60D and why I went ahead and pre-ordered it, and cover a few other random topics that are on the list of things to do. So let's start out with these headphones. The headphones I had are the Panasonic RP-HTX7. These are closed diaphragm monitoring headphones, and they run about $30 to $35. The first pair I had of these lasted almost 5 years before the leather finally started to crack on these units, and that's a very good run for a $30 pair of headphones. I think the sound quality is pretty decent overall, and for the price, you can't really go wrong, especially with the durability of these units. Now, the name isn't very catchy, but the retro look of these headphones will definitely pique people's interest. If you're not really into that retro look, you know, as long as you're wearing them around the house or you're just doing audio monitoring with them, they're pretty good headphones. If you are into the retro look, on the other hand, then these are definitely ones to take out in the public and wear around. I find them very comfortable. They have a lot of room to expand for people like me with bigger melons that don't fit into standard headphones. And the sound quality is very decent. Plus, since they're a closed diaphragm headphone, they block out a lot of the sound around you. Not quite as good as noise canceling, but good enough to keep that outside interference down if you're trying to monitor audio from, say, a field recorder, or you're just trying to listen to music and pretend like you're not paying attention to the world around you. Plus, I like those a lot better than the earbud type of headphones. The sound quality on these is pretty decent for $30 and durable. They are very durable. I'm going to continue to throw in road tests like this of different items that I've bought over the years and kept with me and used for a long time. It's nice when you do a review to tell somebody what you think about something, but if you wait a little while, use it for maybe like 6 months or more, and then talk about it, you have a little bit further in-depth view of that item. So look forward to more road tests being posted on DSLRfilmnoob.com. Now, moving on from there, I've got the iRig Pre-Hack, which is this little beauty right here. This $35 little preamp for the iPhone has excellent sound quality, has phantom power, has an XLR input, and you follow my hack instructions and you can turn the passive headphone output into an output for your camera. Basically meaning you don't need any extra external hardware on this thing or adapter or what have you to use this as a power amp for your camera, microphone, or whatever. This thing sounds very clean for the price. It's probably one of the most affordable units out there. Now, a couple of people have been asking if you can do other things with the iRig Pre, like maybe glue two of these together and wire it up so that one is on the left channel and one is on the right channel. If you look at the hack instructions, you'll notice that there is a red and a black wire. Those represent the left and right channels of audio for the iRig Pre. All I'm doing is combining those with the mono mic output. So if you wanted to combine two of these into a left and right channel output, all you'd need to do is connect the red wire to the yellow wire in one unit and the black wire to the yellow wire in the other unit. That way, when you plug in a stereo plug into this one and a stereo plug into that one and feed that out onto a single stereo plug, you're basically getting one as the left channel and one as the right channel directly into your camera. That gives you independent control of volume levels on both the left and right channels, along with XLR inputs. A few people have been asking if you could parallel the XLR input with an 1/8" input. You can, and if you look inside, you'll see on one of the diagrams that I have on the website that there's 3 wires that are basically broken out for this XLR adapter. If you want to wire that in parallel, just be careful that you don't hook your equipment up to the 1/8" port while you have the phantom power turned on, because if you parallel that port, you're going to be applying phantom power to both the 1/8" input as well as the XLR. And some equipment doesn't handle that very well. It kind of probably will fry it. I think it'll probably burn it up. Yeah, so don't do that. That's a bad idea. Otherwise, this XLR adapter is excellent. I can't say enough good things about this thing. I hope that iRig will be mass produced as a DSLR device in some point in the future. Right now, the only competitors you have to this are things like JuiceLink and Beach-Tech, which are fairly expensive products. There are a few $60 and $70 all-in-one case, AA battery-powered XLR adapters, but they don't stand up quite as well as this guy, and they don't have independent controls like this guy does. They only have phantom power for your microphone. So if you're looking for a cheap, affordable pre for your camera, this iRig Pre is definitely something to check out. Now moving on from there, I've got some audio samples on the website of the iRig Pre. If you're interested in that, go check those out. I'll have links in the show notes to those so you can take a listen to the audio quality of that unit and see what you think. Black Friday, well, you know, if you bought a lot of crap on the internet, Black Friday is usually the day that you do it, or Cyber Monday. It used to be those were two separate holidays, but they've kind of morphed into a amalgamation of a single holiday. In fact, Black Friday, they were offering deals on Thursday night, which isn't even Friday, and the Monday deals were going on to Tuesday, and I think now it's like Cyber Week where they have a bunch of specials going on. If you were following that, you might have picked up the Torch LED Bolt by Swisstronics. This is a really excellent LED panel that's camera mountable. It runs on those Sony NX batteries. It's kind of bulky, but it puts out about 300 watts of equivalent light, and the throw is excellent for this device. The only problem is that the retail is about $300 plus battery pack, but for where Black Friday they were offering up a deal where it was $249, and I believe that even included the battery, which makes it a little bit more affordable. If you need to go out and shoot in like an area where you don't have electrical power or something like that, the LED torch is a great option, but it is expensive. If you want to do 3-point lighting and you're doing it with 3 torch LED lights, you're gonna be spending like $800 or $900, which is fairly pricey for a light kit. It might be better if you could just rent a generator or maybe plug an inverter into your car, or better yet, just have 3 of your friends park their cars far enough away to spread that light out, maybe use some reflectors or something like that. It is nice to have, but the other thing to note on the Torch LED is that it doesn't last very long. It uses quite a bit of juice out of those little batteries. If you have some really decent batteries like the Tachyon batteries, those will last quite a while, but if you have the standard Sony batteries that come with the unit, you're only going to expect maybe an hour or an hour and a half out of those units at full brightness. It does put out a lot of light, and the throw is very good, and it's very bright. So if you do need an ultra bright LED light in a small camera mountable package, the Torch LED Bolt is definitely something to look at. Going on from there, there were tons of memory card deals, and that leads me to the 264 gig cards that I picked up this weekend on Black Friday. That 64 gig deal was like $55, I believe, for SanDisk's 45 megasecond 64 gig cards. And these SDXC cards will be perfect for what I decided to throw my money in for, the Canon 6D. The Canon 6D has its pluses and minuses. I've been kind of on the fence about this one for a while. Not sure whether the value of that unit will be enough to make me want to keep it, or if it's going to be something that I test out and decide I don't like and put on eBay. But the Canon 6D offers up a few tempting items. The photocell sights on the Canon 6D are 6.55 microns, which means that can collect more light than the 6.25 microns that you get out of the 5D Mark III. It also is good down to -3 EV for its autofocus system, which means it can focus in even lower light than the -2 EV rating that you have on the 5D Mark III. And the 5D Mark II, I think, is only 0.5, and there's a dramatic difference between the Mark II and Mark III in low light focusing. So imagine if you up that another EV to the 6D, it only has 11 autofocus points, which is kind of, well, it feels like a step back almost, because that's what you get in like the T2i almost and the 5D or Mark II. It's not very good, and I've kind of debated back and forth on this, But the key feature that really makes this tempting is the fact that it has built-in Wi-Fi. The GPS, you know, maybe if I was a hiker or something like that, that might be an important feature, but really the built-in Wi-Fi means that you can control and use your camera with your phone or tablet wirelessly. And I know there's a few things out there like the Camera Mater that I've posted about, as well as a couple of other different USB options for your camera to control it via Wi-Fi. But Canon's offering the WFT is like $800, and it provides about the same feature, only it has a little bit stronger broadcast signal for the Wi-Fi antenna, which means it can go like 100 meters instead of 30 meters. Well, are you really going to be 100 meters away from your camera if you're trying to operate it? Probably not. You're probably just going to want the convenience of being wireless with your phone, wandering around, looking at that, and getting the shots that you need. It's something that would be really handy if you are operating a Steadicam, or if you are running the camera and you have someone that's checking your shots over, something like that, because I'm pretty sure you'll be able to broadcast that live view mode at the same time as you have the screen on the back of the camera, just like you do when you USB tether the device. So that means you'll be able to see what the camera sees, and someone else will be able to monitor what you're doing at the same time. So if you have a client, or I don't know, maybe an assistant director, or maybe you're just the camera guy on set and you have a director that really wants to make sure that you're getting the shots that he has in mind, you can hand that over to him, go shoot, and he can approve the shots as you go, and you don't have to worry about bringing the camera back over to him and playing that back again. So basically the reasons to choose the 6D seem to me to be the low light performance, the better low light autofocus, and the Wi-Fi antenna that's built into the unit. The rest of it, the number of autofocus points, it's less than the 7D. Its frame rate is 4.5 FPS, which is not very impressive. And otherwise, it's just kind of a run-to-the-mill Canon lukewarm offering. If they hadn't put the new sensor in there and the Wi-Fi antenna in there, I don't know why anybody would have even gone for this camera, which is sort of frustrating. It's like, it's $2,000, which is pretty expensive, and they haven't upgraded the autofocus system from the 5D Mark II. Come on, Canon, get with the program. It's kind of turning into a big old load of crap that you guys can't keep up with people who are innovating like Panasonic. And then, of course, a couple of people have asked about the Sony A99. That camera in its price range looks pretty sweet. It's, even though it's not as quite as good in a low light performance, it's got all the extra bells and whistles, full-time autofocus in video mode. It's got excellent autofocus in low light. It's got the viewfinder, the electronic viewfinder that you can check out while you're also sending a clean HDMI signal out. And of course, that handy XLR adapter for the camera. That makes it a pretty nice package. Just remember that XLR adapter is a little overpriced. I think it's like $800. So instead of being a $2,700 camera, by the time you get that XLR adapter, if you're using this for film, you're gonna spend another $800. So that makes it, something like $4,600. That's pretty pricey. And it may not be for everyone. Actually, I think it's $3,600. I should practice my math a little bit more. Anyway, moving on from there, what do we have next? It looks like basically I am shedding some gear here. I got rid of the 40mm f2.8 because it wasn't really falling into that category of major use that I have with most of my equipment. And so congratulations to the guy who picked that up from me on the website. That went out last week, so you should be enjoying it right now. Also, I have my old Rode VideoMic Pro, Rode VideoMic, not the Pro. I have that up for sale on the site. If you guys want that, that's cool. If not, it's gonna go on eBay next week. That microphone has been with me for a while, but that whole pluralized deal is just too good to pass up. Continuing on from there, the buckle spring keyboard. This is from Unicron, and this was a Cyber Monday deal. Basically, they just offered free shipping. It's $79 keyboard, but it has springs behind each key. So if you really enjoy that like deep press typewriter feel that comes from an old IBM keyboard like you had in the early 90s and late 80s, this is the one to go for. I like the tactile feel of a really good keyboard, and I say that as I have one of these mushy, crappy Logitech wireless keyboards here. Fortunately, I don't do a ton of typing on this set of keys, but when you type on one of those, it's really satisfying and it feels really good, especially if you have large, clunky hands like I do. A lot of times if I'm typing on my laptop or on other really small kind of chiclet keyboards, I'll end up popping a key out because I use too much force, which is sort of annoying, and it's nice to have a keyboard that's kind of built for my hands. A couple of people mentioned that they prefer those kind of split keyboards. Never really got into those. It's kind of an odd, awkward position for me when I'm typing, but they are supposed to be ergonomic, so I guess that works for them. Anyway, moving on from there, and this is probably the last bit I'll be covering for this podcast, is that the generic batteries that are available on eBay are starting to be illegally branded with the Canon label. They even send them out in packages that look like they are Canon batteries. These are decoded batteries, and they are not officially Canon batteries. If you read some of the listings that haven't been taken down yet, they do say Canon battery in them or official Canon battery, but when they actually show up, they have some kind of generic looking writing on the bottom and a lot of stuff that doesn't quite look like Canon stuff. Well, it turns out those sellers are selling counterfeit batteries. I have a set of those. They don't work too bad, actually. So if you find them and they are really affordable, they're probably okay to use. They're just not real Canon batteries. They say Canon, they look like Canon batteries, they feel like Canon batteries, but they are counterfeit batteries. So keep an eye out for that. But that's about it for now. As always, thanks for watching, guys, or listening, and I will continue to update and kind of mesh this into a more conformed package as I work on this podcast. For those of you that were complaining about the You Send It download link, I am correcting that. I am starting to publish these as actual podcasts, so they should start showing up in iTunes in a week or two, and you guys will be able to download both the video and the audio versions of this podcast if that's something you're interested in. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.